almost all of the interesting things that you can learn about porous medium, it comes from coffee. And coffee is a really good model system for it. And specifically in coffee, you have different ways to prepare coffee, right? You can do it in a filter, like what we have here, which is eventually what you have when you make coffee is grind beans of coffee. And within these beans of coffee, you have oily substances. These aromatic oils are the ones that gives you the flavorish part for the coffee. And you grind them with different sizes. And each size corresponds to a different way of making the coffee. So this is a filter coffee. We generally make it pretty coarse when we make filter coffee. We do it through a Chemex machine. And it starts very dry, right? So this is like a very dry soil. And when we put the hot water above it, then you start raising the height of the water, which corresponds to pressure. Okay, exactly as we said. The height of the water is pressure. And that establishes the rate of flow of water through this porous material. Now, as we grind it more coarsely, then the flow is faster, right? Because there's lots of voids in between where the water can actually percolate. If we'll grind it more fine grain, then there's less room for maneuvering for the water, so the flow is slower. Now, as we'll increase the height, you can see that already the flow is reduced because there's less height of water. We'll add some more and we'll have more height of water, and all of a sudden the flow becomes more rapid and now it's really important because what you do when you do that is extracting the oily substances. So this is making filter coffee. And because we're doing that, we're desorbing the oily substances. We call it reactive flow. Because there's not just transport, the percolation of the water, there's also extraction of the oil, which is like desorption of the oil from the coffee. So it's like reactive flow. Now, if we want to extract more oily substances, more coffee, for less amount of water, okay? What can we do? We can increase the pressure and then in that way we can extract even more coffee, and we can do also a mixture of water and vapor. That's what you do when you make a macchinetta or one mocha coffee. You increase the extraction of coffee, then you grind it even finer than what you do for a filter. And more often than not, you also change the interfacial tension, which is something we're going to talk about later on in this course. Okay? Now, if we really want to extract more coffee with less amount of water in a very short time, we're going to increase the pressure within a coffee machine, right? To make an espresso. And we just said, what is the pressure we do there? How much? 15 bars, which is corresponding to 150 meters of water column above you. So this will be, 10 centimeters at best. And what we're talking about in a coffee machine is 150 meters of water height. So we're talking about 3 orders of magnitude roughly. But then you actually compact the coffee and you grind it very finely, and that's why you need this high pressure to actually percolate through this really, really fine grind of coffee and extracting just the essence of it in this espresso cup. Okay? And we're in the Mediterranean, and in the Mediterranean, we just put our coffee in a pot and drinking like this. So that's that's how I see all the processes that are happening in porous material, where you have reactive flow, transport, swelling of the coffee, changing of the interfacial tension with 2 phases, and fracking, which is what we actually do now to extract oil in the ground.